Now, I could have created a cool, funny intro for this, but because of what we're talking about today, I thought there could be no better intro than this.
Hello there.
Better. Hello, everyone. Jedimike7 here, and I'm back with another video. And today, the wait is over. The wait is over. We are here to talk about Obi-Wan series that has been dropping on Disney Plus today. Before we get started with today's discussion, I'm just going to let you know we're going to be covering the first two episodes. The first two episodes have dropped, and this will be a spoiler-filled discussion about my review, what I thought about the overall start of this season. Because we got 6 episodes, and we're already 1/3 of the whole season as of right now. Before we go, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share. Let me know what you guys thought of the episode, and also what your hopes for overall season. Because I've been very excited for this, and this has been a long time coming, and I cannot wait discuss this with y'all. But I just gotta say, before I get started with this, Star Wars Celebration is happening right now, and I just want to, before I get into the topic of this, I just also want to give them like my thoughts and prayers to people, the victims of in Texas going on right now, and I hopefully that I know that we have this conversation. Hopefully, just bring some light in our life, but at the same time, just acknowledge the reality that we're living in. That we're living in some really dark times, and I just want to kind of give my thoughts and prayers to anyone who's been affected by that. And anyone you're watching this video, just tell somebody that you love them. You don't know the next day is not guaranteed, and but yeah, I just want to kind of give my thoughts and prayers for that. And hopefully we can move the show and get on to the overall topic. Okay, all right. So let's talk about Obi-Wan, y'all. Obi-Wan is here, and I gotta tell you guys, I thought the show started off with a bang. See, you have to understand, Obi-Wan, for me, I grew up on the prequels, right? So the prequels were my original trilogy, but I felt like the way they handled this show really well, especially going over the transition from Obi-Wan to from Revenge of the Sith to New Hope, and that the way they started this show, really 10 years away from Revenge of the Sith, and seeing all the context and ultimate like dimensions of his character, really I felt was very fascinating to me as a Star Wars fan. Now, obviously, we've had many shows such as, The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, and other shows that are coming as of right now. But Obi-Wan has been a very, very highly anticipated show. And I think that the way at least this show has started, I think it's off on a good start. So let's get to it. So, really, right off we get into it. Execute Order 66. This show start off with in the Jedi Temple. Now I think this show I'm gonna get back into it later in this discussion, but I think this scene was very very pivotal for a particular character that was introduced in the show. But given the perspective of a youngling, we all know the massacre of Order 66 of the Jedi Temple with the clone troopers. I thought the way they give the POV shot of this as we're just going down the halls and just going through the massacre and everything. I really, really like how they start off with the bang. But then after they transition, then they basically go to present day, at least in this time, which is absolutely 10 years, 10 years from the Revenge of the Sith, right? So as of right now, Anakin has transitioned becoming Darth Vader. Obi-Wan is now a hermit. He's living being protector for Luke Skywalker, who's with Uncle Owen. And Leia is on Alderaan with her parents as well, Male Ghana as well. So, and I think that the way that they're kind of giving the scope of this show of how they're giving the perspective of this is not the same Obi-Wan we had before. This is a war. We just included the Clone Wars, and it's over. This man is lost and he is broken, and you have to understand that for someone that for me that Obi-Wan was this very very pivotal figure in the Star Wars universe, that for him to be transitioned to now this hermit. Now we've seen this trope many many times, but for me, I thought that this was actually on par and on the tone of what they're trying to do of transitioning from the more of the Ewan McGurn uh uh Obi-Wan to the Alec Guinness or Obi-Wan. So and you can see there's little mannerisms that they're trying to transition to, especially with his acting. But I gotta say, he's doing a very very um he's doing a very very good job in terms of how he's displaying his role and with his character. Um, but I'll say Ewan McGregor and seeing Hayden Christensen back in this role really was just almost like a blast from the past for me. Especially you've seen him walking into the sand, walking into down the trails of Tatooine, which we have seen over and over and over again. I don't know about you, but I am so sick and tired of being back on Tatooine. But at least for this story, it's appropriate. But I'm so sick of it. I hate sand, as one famous character said. But let's get right into the rest of the episode. Then we transition. He's on Tatooine. He's observing a 10-year-old Luke Skywalker who's with Uncle Owen. He's still aspiring to be a pilot and everything. And I thought the way that they did this, from giving his perspective, I thought it was very well, very emotional too, just to see that he's still been nurturing and watching him as protector, even though that he felt that Obi-Wan had this guilt that he put Luke Skywalker in this predicament because he trained his father, right? And he felt like the weight of the world, the weight of the galaxy is on Obi-Wan's shoulder because he lost, he failed to him, right? And I thought that one thing that you saw Obi-Wan way Ewan McGregor was talking about was that this is a person that's defeated, and you see that with his character, and especially the fact that still his mission was still protecting Luke, overwatching him, and everything like that. He still has to remain hidden because Jedi's are a hunt in this time, and as we get to it, you see this flashbacks of him. You see the flashbacks of the prequels, of him, of Hayden Christensen, of him meeting young Anakin from the Phantom Menace. Those little quick shots of him with his memory, I thought was very very powerful. That we've been seeing for years, right? And now we finally are getting it. And I think that this is just like setting the stone, at least how they're gonna reveal certain things in the rest of the season, especially when talking about going on this hero's journey of Obi-Wan, many things that has he's training on his own to be this protector, and also more importantly increasing his force abilities, because now he has, for his safety and also for the safety of Luke, he has to detach himself from the force. So as you see that he's not as powerful as he used to be, but over time he will. And then one thing I love that you saw, that how you kept giving um Obi-Wan was still watching him. He was giving him toys as like a secret Santa almost, right? And even though Uncle Owen might not like that, I think I still appreciate that he still has care for Luke, because the fact of the circumstances of what his father had gone through, he didn't want to make the same mistake with him, right? And I love this scene with the Jawas and all this stuff like that. And we know what the toy was, the vehicle was. But even then, if for Star Wars fans, if you did not know what the vehicle was, you still just the fact that, hey, it's just there as a toy for Luke, and that was it, and we keep the story moving, right? I love that. Um, One thing I also liked is that in the scene of him in the cave when he was sleeping, that how he was sleeping, and he acknowledged his master Qui-Gon, who also played by the famous Liam Neeson, who reportedly he said that he did not wasn't going to be on the show, that he really only be in movies. But to me, my Negro spider senses are tingling. I'm telling you, he is going to be in the show. The fact that they had that recap at the beginning and it started with Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson is going to be in the show, to me, I don't know if I'm ready for it, because that'd be very very powerful. Because I thought the strongest parts of the prequels was with you know, Ewan McGregor, and in terms of his performance, and even though in the prequels that he didn't really have that big of a role, other than with the relationship he had with Qui Gon and the defeating Darth Maul, but for Qui Gon, especially, you haven't seen the prequels that of him, that after he died, that he able to become a Force ghost, and that's a ability that most Jedi don't know. Ultimately, Master Yoda will have it, and Obi-Wan will have it too. So as of right now, Yoda, his last mission or last training for Obi-Wan is that being in connection with the Force of his former master Qui-Gon. So I think that we're definitely, I can bet you 100%, we're gonna see Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon in later episodes of this season. But yeah, and here we go. Then, one thing I also like to hear, that we get into introducing of the villains of the show. We know Vader's coming, but also we know that the Empire is growing, and with that comes with the Inquisitors. Now, for those of you guys don't know what the Inquisitors are basically a bunch of former Jedi or former Force users who have been used, returned to the dark side and used as Imperial forces using to hunt Jedi. They're Jedi hunters, right? So, and then you have the Grand Inquisitor, who you have I've seen on the Star Wars animated show Rebels. You also seen the fifth brother on the right hand side, but then you see also the other character here we see, which is the third sister, right? Her name is Riva, right? And I think what I love what they did with this character, that there's more than me side with this character. I think her performance seems kind of like one noted to me. And I think that, as of right now, it seems okay. But I know for some people, it might seem a little bit overpowering. Like, hey, she's just trying to be an evil person. Like, she cut the woman's hand off and stuff and trying to be intimidating, just trying to find Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? And to me, I think there's more to it, that the fact that we saw the beginning scenes, how this first episode started at the temple. I think maybe she was a youngling during that time, and maybe it involves some with Obi-Wan. Hopefully, we could get more explanation about her character, because I want to see her be more multi-dimensional and not one noted, because this could, probably turn some viewers off, right? Um, and I thought the way that she came in with force to be reckoned with, even to a point that she's not only challenging Obi-Wan and the Jedi, but she's also challenging the other Inquisitors, right? Too, right? No, she being told that she's being too reckless, that she's being too this. She's trying to kill one of the Jedi's they found in one of the in the cantina bars, right? And then an Inquisitor, the Grand Inquisitor, stopped her from killing, for her killing him, and she's just like saying, hey, we've been hunting down Obi-Wan for 10 years, right? And she's basically saying that if she gets Obi-Wan, she will get what she's owed. Now, what is she's owed, we don't know. Probably maybe just for power. We will find out. But I like at least the introduction of the third sister, Riva, and hopefully we can get explanation of her soon moving forward. But then as we get to this scene with Riva and the Inquisitors, that you have this scene with Obi-Wan, how he's like, another Jedi found him, and he's saying like, I'm not who you think I am. You need to stay hidden. Go to the middle of the desert, bury your lightsaber, live a life, and stay hidden. And then the Jedi, he's just like that they found. He's like, well, what about the fight? We still got to keep fighting. The fight is over. We lost. And that's what I'm saying. You see an Obi-Wan that's defeated, but still in tone with his character. I feel like with um with Ewan McGregor. I love what they did with in terms of him watching the fact that he can't stand up. He can't go try to defend himself because he gonna bring attention to the Inquisitors. And hopefully that'll lead to not only to his demise, but hopefully unfortunately even to the demise of Uncle Owen and Luke Skywalker. Right. So and I just love what they did this to just turn a movie in the tone of the show. Then this was a huge curveball. I did not know. We actually got to go off planet, and we actually go to the planet Alderaan. Right now, if those of you guys don't know, in the first in the original Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope, Alderaan was actually destroyed. Right, so we're seeing this planet right before what we know, which ultimately be its demise. But then in this planet, we see a young Leia. Right, and we see Leia with the Organas, and she's being, dressed to be a princess and everything, but yet she's still being rebellious, like her parents, like her mother and her father. And she's headstrong. And one thing I like with the child actress, what she did was that you can tell that this is a young princess and eventually General Leia. I like what they did with her, at least with the child actors, because you can admit that some child actors, they can be very one noted, especially if they're not directed very well. But for this context, what they did in the first two episodes, I like what they did here. Um, but yeah, and as we move forward, one Leia, she gets captured by some mercenaries who later we find out who hired them. But then this goes to the point that the Organas are contacting Obi-Wan on Tatooine, say, "Hey, listen, we can't trust anybody. You need to leave our planet and pick up and save Leia." But then Obi-Wan is saying, "My duty is to the boy. My duty is to Luke Skywalker. I have to protect him." And then it basically gives the logic of like the same reason for you protecting Luke, you have to protect Leia. Is his life not worth more than the boy's? That's his sister, right? And I like the logic that he gave it to him, because he know the fact that he still has to remain hidden, but at the same time, Leia is in danger, right? And I like what they did this that giving him the stress call, like, listen, you need to go off planet and you need to go save Leia. And as we move forward, you see Obi-Wan finally getting the courage to actually go into the middle of the desert and going up. And now I don't know how he found it. Maybe got some new like GPS or whatever. But in the middle of the desert, he digged up the hole where he buried not one but two lightsabers. Right, mind you, he also has Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber, which he got from the end of Revenge of the Sith. So he has two lightsabers. Now, I think now when we ultimately get the rematch of Vader in the overall season, that maybe gonna say, "Hey, where my lightsaber at?" That might be something. Because it also is expanded lore talking about him finding his lightsaber again. That was belonging to Anakin Skywalker. But and then you see Obi-Wan finally having the courage to get up and leave off planet and then have his lightsaber on his hilt as the final shot of the episode. And then we transition to episode 2, right? Now, episode 2, he's uh, on the hunt looking for Leia and everything. Now, one thing I did like about this too is that the fact that Leia that she's been captured as a child, that also make her well, now when she gets captured in uh New Hope, that just second nature to her, right? It's like I've been down this rodeo before. Let's get to it, you know and I liked it. But the one thing I said that for me that was a big negative, at least for the second episode, because I felt the first episode was stronger than the second one, right? But with the actress of Leia, there's always this like, okay, there's a child that you always have to chase somebody because they're running away, something like that. I felt that just kind of annoying a little bit to me. And let's be honest, Disney could have done it. They could have made Leia Organa very very annoying as a child, but they choose not to. They just she's 10, like she's a 10-year-old kid, right? Just as you saw the kids that was uh Billy and Tommy that played Wiccan and Speed in the WandaVision series, that played Wanda's children in the Marvel universe, right? Uh the same thing. They're 10 years old. So like what can you do, right? But still I felt what they did trying to find him off planet, trying to find Leia off planet, and in that scene of her trying to chase him and not really believing who she is, believing who he is and stuff like that. I think that they did that in a very good way. But one thing I also thought that was very interesting, you found a homeless or hobo a clone trooper. It wasn't Rex, but clone trooper, and I thought that was very sad, at least to just see him that maybe he didn't have the inhibitor chip in his head that made him turn to killing the Jedi, but at the same time it's like they just decommissioned the clone army now because they don't see him as a utility anymore. You can find this in the expanded lore, also in the series The Bad Batch, which is the animated series after the Clone Wars, which showed them like trying to decommission the clone army, and I just thought that was just kind of they still kept the continuity of the show. This is 10 years after Clone Wars, and not all the clones are eradicated. There's still some of them are just don't have a job anymore, right? And even then, Obi-Wan still giving him grace, giving a clone like some money, because the fact of like they were not in control of themselves. They had an inhibitor chip, that made them execute Order 66. So, but I thought that was very good what they did there. But as much as we got these weird, cameos of different characters, then all of a sudden we got another cameo of Kamal from Marvel's Internals. Now he's in Star Wars. And I thought this to me really took me out of the episode because, like, yeah, I know he's a very comedic actor, but to me, it just felt like he was playing cosplay almost, right? Yes, he was impersonating a Jedi, but I just thought that it kind of took me out of the episode just a little bit as a joke as he's trying to smuggle, people out of the planet, but then yet still trying to get some credits. Um, yeah, I thought that was very, very weird for me. But yeah, I guess it's just his cameo. I don't know if we'll see him again the rest of the season, but Star Wars, obviously, for just being a popular brand, that they want to have actors that want to try to come and cameo and do all these, just do be a supporting character, whatever. But for me, for Kamal, I thought the scene was funny, but again, still kind of took me out. But as we now seeing that, well, we find out that Leia's been captured, Obi-Wan rescued her, but we find out that the mercenaries were actually hired by Riva, right? Which is the third sister, and now it got to a point where she's trying to capture Obi-Wan and try to set up a trap for him, right? And still, you still having this woman who is having a sole mission of trying to find out where Obi-Wan is, right? And thinking that if we kidnap an Imperial Senate's daughter, right, then we'll probably able to capture um Obi-Wan. And this caused a lot of frustration to the Grand Inquisitor, right? The Grand Inquisitor was very, very pissed off with like, you like we're at war right now as an imperial as the Empire, and you kidnap an Imperial senator's daughter, right? And then it got to a point where he's talking to Riva saying like, you're lesser than us, right? You're a lesser being than the rest of the other Inquisitors, right? So maybe this might be some type of scene that they're might be setting up later, which we'll find out when we get to later on this episode. But again, I just thought that was very powerful, at least given some type of dynamic between the Inquisitors, which we still don't know much about Riva. But the fact that she is reckless, that she would do any means necessary to try to go get Obi-Wan, right? But as we get into more of the episode, obviously Leia was trying to run away, but then Obi-Wan caught her. But then to a point when Leia fell off of a roof, Obi-Wan used the Force to try to catch her, but he was still rugged. Again, this is Obi-Wan Kenobi that is 10 years from the Revenge of the Sith, so he has been disconnected from the Force, right? Which I think going over the events of this season, they're going to find that him being hidden doesn't mean that he has to be disconnected from the Force, right? And this hopefully will get him to being his completing his training. Hopefully that he can get to talking to Qui-Gon Jinn, Liam Neeson. But then as soon as we have help of Kamal, uh, who was the impersonator Jedi, trying to get him off planet. Then we get to Riva chasing him down, but then get to a one-on-one scrimmage between the Grand Inquisitor and Riva. And after the Grand Inquisitor, told Riva to move aside, 'cause I'm not gonna let you take Obi-Wan, and he basically taking the credit of capturing Obi-Wan. All of a sudden, boom, end of his demise. They kill him, supposedly, allegedly, right? So for those of you guys don't know, Star Wars Rebels take place after about maybe five or 6 years before the events of Star Wars: New Hope, and the Grand Inquisitor is the villain, at least for the first season, right? But for them to just kill him off like this, to me, I was like, wait, what? But honestly, we'll see what happens in the third episode next week, and hopefully we get some clarification about this. But I will tell you this: Riva's not making it out of the season alive. She is not making it out of the season alive. The fact that you're gonna kill the Grand Inquisitor, or maybe this might not be the only Grand Inquisitor. It might be just a different one, but same species. I don't know. But to me, I thought that was very weird that they just kill him off like that. Now, we have seen people survive lightsaber, attacks. Obviously, with Darth Maul, got his whole half his body cut off, and he still survived. So we'll see. But one thing that you saw was that after she did this, Riva told Obi-Wan that he's been looking for you. He's been waiting for you, right? Anakin, Anakin Skywalker is still alive, and this leave Obi-Wan in shock, right? To a point where it's like he realized that his Padawan, his brother, the man he thought he was dead, at Mustafar, right? The man he thought he trained to be, the chosen one, and who eventually lead to the Jedi Purge, right? And leading to the dark side, becoming Darth Vader, leading to basically the Great Jedi Purge that lead him to the position that he is in today, right? Is still alive, and he's been waiting for him. And then having this beautiful scene of him looking in the camera and saying the one name, Anakin, and then transition to the look of Vader in the back to tank, right? And with him breathing, and that how what happens, how it concludes the second episode of this season. And I gotta say, they start off with a very, very good start. Now, again, to me, the first episode was better than the second one, but I felt they had, for what they did for the start of the remaining 4 episodes, because we got 6 episodes in total. I think they have established some groundwork for what they can do for the overall season. Again, I'm really excited what they've been doing with this show. This has been long waited. This is one of my highly anticipated shows. But at the same time, we got Stranger Things. We got The Boys, which is coming out next week. Be on the lookout for that for some content. But again, I gotta give props to Deborah Chow, the director of the show, for what she's been doing. She's been killing it. She was doing some great job with a few of her episodes in the Mandalorian, and also we're gonna have Hayden Christensen back. I still cannot wait to see what they have in store for the rest of the season with the show with the Obi-Wan. But again, guys, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share. Let me know what you guys think of the first two episodes of Obi-Wan. Again, till next time, I'm Jedimike7. Make sure you hit the subscribe link, and let me know your thoughts, guys. And guys, and then I'll end off with this one video. Until next time, I'll see you next time. Peace. We're out.
This is where the fun begins.